But I've had a slight update to Red-Black Sack, ready to go for like a week or 2 weeks. This is like pretty close to what I played at my RCQ. So I played this at an RCQ, or something very close to this, a couple of weeks ago. I very narrowly missed my invite. It was a big heartbreaker. But this is a deck that I've played a good amount of, maybe not as much as you would expect for how high the win percentage is, but over like a couple challenges and several leagues, we're like close to an 80% win rate with this deck. It has just been time and time again super impressive strategy. So again, so like this, you could maybe think of it as scam with the sack cards, although I typically think of it the inverse. Yeah, I tend to think of it as the inverse. Hold on, make sure this is the right list. Yeah, as like sacrifice with the scam cards, but also that's maybe just because like that's where I started. But you know, I'm sure a lot of you have seen the deck in the past. This is a deck I played like not that long ago in a challenge, actually, the Showcase Challenge. It's a deck that I've been really enjoying for tournament play. This is like definitely one of my more serious try-hard strategies at the moment. So this is a deck built around Goblin Bombardment, really trying to keep your card quality as high as possible while also meeting deck building requirements for Bombardment, which is a really powerful sacrifice outlet. And so one thing that happens to be the case in like a really nice way is that the scam elements of Grief and Fury play really well with Bombardment, where you get extra damage when you are scamming, and you get to like still use Malakir Rebirth. And like what's good about the Bombardment plan with the scam cards is a little bit less like sacking Grief or Fury and more so turning Feign Death, Malakir Rebirth into like really powerful effects, where if you have Bombardment in play, you're like very often happy to draw these kind of effects and target your like Seasoned Pyromancer, your Unlucky Witness, you know, anything, but mostly those 2 cards, and sack them to Bombardment to like reuse them and filter through your deck. We're also playing Village Rites as a kind of a good way to bridge the gap. This is a card that's really important to play alongside Bloodghast and Unlucky Witness to get some card advantage and have a density of sack outlets to use them in the first place. And so, but also Village Rites plays pretty well with Grief Fury Scam on turn 1. Not as well, of course, as Rebirth Feign Death. I know a lot of people don't love to play Malakir Rebirth in normal versions of Scam. I think that that's fine, but I think it's hard to like play all of the synergistic cards you need and have enough lands to play without Malakir Rebirth. And also Malakir Rebirth is better in this version too, where you care a little bit less about that +1 counter when you are sacrificing your creatures often enough. Oh, sorry. This is not the right version. Because one of the other changes is playing Necromentia over Orvar, where I think enough creativity players are hedging against Orvar post-board that if you can afford to play Necromentia, because you're a black deck, you should be playing it instead, although of course not every deck has that luxury, so... Is Ragavan actually good in this version? Seems like the worst card in the deck by a mile looking at the game plan. Yeah, not a crazy question to ask. I do think Ragavan is good. You have Fury to clear the way on turn 2, and if you can contrast that to the food decks where I exclude Ragavan, you don't really have any way to kill creatures turn 2. You don't have as many as you would really like, but it's also I do like that Ragavan lowers the curve. It's synergistic with Mayhem Devil. I like that you can protect Ragavan with the scam cards. You can sack it to Village Rites early. A lot of times your opponents will like not play around those cards, although sometimes they will. And honestly, like in a big way, lowering the curve is the most important part about playing Ragavan. Although it is true, I cut this card post board really often. But I agree, Ragavan's not a mandatory card to play in red decks. Just like I was just playing a red deck with that Ragavan. Interesting. So Katrina Triome could be Rhinos, could be a Wrenn and 6 deck. If it's a Wrenn and 6 deck, I think I'd really like to have Witness in play. If it's Rhinos, I'd much rather have cast Ragavan, but... So you get 1 or 2 of sideboards that broad meta. Yeah, I mean, Intent is fine. And we played in the deck, it's definitely fine, but I've been preferring the deck without it. Interesting. I do think I'm supposed to grief. Even though Bloodghast is so good here, if I just go Bombardment, draw a land, discard Bloodghast with the Bombardment in play, I like that I can... potentially Village Rites, draw 2 cards, then play Ragavan if the coast is clear. And if the coast isn't clear, I'll just let this happen. Potentially just play the Bombardment, depending on what their hand looks like. I can Village Rites to the Witness later. Main deck Mystical Dispute. This has been such an odd card to me to be main decking in Modern. I'm just going to go ahead and take a Dead Gone. It has... I've seen it more and more, though, the main deck Deadly Dispute. I think I have enough lands that only tap for black that I'll get a Blood Crypt here, so I can more easily cast the Seasoned Pyromancer. We'll just play Bombardment, since they still have the other Dead Gone. Looks like they're going to dead my Unlucky Witness, which clears the way for Ragavan. Though I would have loved to have the ability to have played one of these. For creativity, I was there, Ryan. If you're saying main deck Deadly Dispute for creativity, I don't know if that makes a lot of sense. Fable looks rare with Mayhem Devil, in my opinion. Seasoned Pyromancer is much better than Fable of the Mirror Breaker in this deck, with the ability to rebuy it with the scam cards, and also like make more tokens to sacrifice. Not sure if I'm going to play the Seasoned Pyromancer here or not. So their hand is just Deadly Dispute, and they're going to Besage you by Goblin Bombardment. Main deck Dispute is for Murktide. Yeah, but just like sideboard the sideboard card is my take. My hot take, sideboard the sideboard card, I think. I'm just going to Spyro. Yeah, I think Fable is fine in this deck. I actually, for a little while, tried Fable over Devil, but I really, really miss Devil. But I don't think... I would play Fable if like Seasoned Pyromancer wasn't like... This is the best Seasoned Pyromancer deck in Modern. Spyro is so insane. Okay, awesome. I love that they're doing this in response, because now I get to just have one extra card. I guess I could still have this in play, but I think the potential here is a bit higher. And that looks like it worked out pretty well. I do not do Donut decks. I haven't done Donut decks in like almost 2 years, actually. But yeah, no Donut decks anymore. Okay, so they still have the Dispute. I can just do this. Yeah, if you're like deck tech, sometimes like people will submit a deck tech and I'll really like it or like the look of it, and I end up like working on it myself, but I was ascended beyond the need for Donut decks, I think. Alright, so spin 2. Cool. When I grief, we know my opponent has Mystical Dispute in their hand, so I'm just not that interested in playing into it. Gonna make them, just have the 3 mana leak for a little while, I think. Could maybe play it this turn, so I can unlock the Fury. But I had other things to do with my mana, like cast the Bloodghast. There's also like a small chance that they just get frustrated by having the Mystical Dispute in their hand at that spot and end up just casting it on the Bloodghast. So I've seen that happen a few times. Not that it's correct, but maybe factored into my decision a little bit. They have Endurance? That would suck. We would still be like really ahead though. Love when a fetch land is just, extra 4 damage. They might have Violent Outburst, which would at least, would be able to get the grief in play. Thankfully their Suspend is still ticking down. It'd be hard to lose this one. Yeah, we have lethal through Violent Outburst because of the Spyro tokens. We would have to have like main deck Endurance or something. We don't know either card anymore. Did y'all know Bloodghast are like super expensive? I was thinking about putting a second copy of the deck together, or like of the sacrifice cards, like borrowing Griefs or Furies, if I wanted to loan the deck out and like have it in the future. But this is like, I think it's like $40 or $45 or something. Which is wild. Desperately needs a reprint. Show me with Kiki deck? Awesome. That deck's very, very fun. Yeah, opponent's dead. $10? Oh, I maybe had the foil filter on. I must have had the foil filter on or something. Okay, because I definitely remember looking at it thinking it was like $40. Okay, that's good news. I thought that they were like $40 each. I must have had the wrong filter on. Good news. Bloodghast affordable for all. Okay, so in this matchup, I don't like bringing in Necromentia too much. It's just like a little too slow. When Path of Peril can just clean up a little bit. I remember how I sideboarded. I played this matchup at the RCQ. I think I brought in 3 Path of Perils. And on the draw, I went like trim my Bloodghast or Ragavan and the Village Rites. Do a lot of trimming with this deck. Yeah, I was maybe looking at the Secret Lair. I'm not sure. I just have the Zendikar ones in paper. I like cut 1 bombardment. I never cut any number of bombardments in any matchup. Being able to scam Fury is good in the matchup. I think we can keep this in the draw. The whole deck is built around bombardment. You really want to draw the first copy. You can pitch extra copies to Fury, Spyro. What is about this deck that makes you skip Orvar when so many other brews play it? The fact that you're playing so much black and you can afford to play Necromentia instead, which I think is like, if you can play Necromentia is better, or if you can play blue counterspells is better. With the notable exception to that rule being so many rules. Yeah, so the exception to playing Necromentia to counterspells is if you're playing Elementals and you have Eladamri's Call or Flamecut Harbinger, you still want some Orvars. But I think that creativity players are like juking Orvar enough that you want to, if you can afford to not play it because you're playing black or blue, you can, or like Hallowed Moonlight. One big obnoxious thing, or sorry, I should say, maybe I have this opinion a little bit more because I lost my invite to my opponent having 1 Elesh Norn, 4 Archon, and they hit the 1 Elesh Norn on creativity X = 1. I'm so sad. Although if my opponent had X = 2, if they had X = 2, and they only couldn't, and I'm just like, reliving the trauma. If my opponent had X that turn though, if they had X = 2, I'm gonna keep the Mire. I don't think my opponent will have brought in Blood Moon. I want to discard the Bloodghast to Spyro. Sorry, if they had gone X = 2 and hit Elesh Norn Archon, I would have been able to go copy Archon twice, untap, not trigger the Archon because of Elesh Norn, but attack twice, kill both of theirs. So frustrating. But like they had Beseiju, so they had the X = 1 on their like Fable token on turn 4. It's okay, it's okay. How good is the Tomb? The Tomb is good enough to play, is my answer, I guess. Oh, they got Island into turn, so they have Blood Moon in their deck against the Rakdos deck post board. Yeah, this is good enough to play. It's an untapped land that taps for black, and so the cost here is not very high. Wow, no 3-drop. You win some games with it for sure. Ooh, an iced. Yeah, you definitely win some games with it. And the games you don't, so just untap. It enters untapped and taps for black. King, 4 months, existed for the 15th. Thank you. Scrubbed out RC at top 8 at 10k for a bunch of money. Awesome, awesome, very cool. See you in Dallas, Avian. I think I'm LCQing. Although I'm gonna go to Minneapolis. I don't know if you can qualify for Dallas in Minneapolis. I haven't like booked my flight or anything yet. Any way world you could fit Lingering Souls? I don't really think there's a good way to fit Lingering Souls into the deck. It's like with as far as Lingering Souls goes, like I would be playing Fable of the Mirror Breaker if I wanted another 3-drop. Like you only have 4 discard outlets, so discarding it to Spyro is not like super reasonable. I have splashed white in the deck before. I don't know if I would splash white anytime soon. I think I discard the Sokenzan, maybe end up regretting it. I don't have Bombardment for Devil anyways. And being able to like triple block a Rhino seems like it could be okay. Don't want to cast Bloodghast? No, usually in these spots I prefer to hold Bloodghast for Seasoned Pyromancer. Even if I'm not making another play, I tend to prefer to just discard it to Spyro. How's the Amulet matchup? Just concede, take a nap. I mean, you're still a Grief deck. You have 4 Magus of the Moon in the sideboard and the Necromentia, so I'd say like unfavored game 1, very favored post board. I think I'm going to use Malakir Rebirth over Feign Death since I'd rather have a counter on the Fury if possible. They might have something here, obviously. Force, that's fine. Yeah, Tomb is really good with Mayhem Devil. Deal a billion damage. Could just hardcast a Fury. I think I'll dash the Ragavan. Thoughts on Thoughtcasting KK? You just need creatures with the Vial tech. I think, at least. I think you need to really have it, you know, we're like, we don't, we can't afford to cut enough or very many creatures.
What's up? It's me, your friend, Aspiring Spike.
Also, like, you do just, like, randomly win some games, because, like, you're top decking, or your opponent taps out, and you just put a 5/5 into play and attack with it. It's, like, kind of imagine that this was a card that said, enter untapped, tap for a mana, but you lose a life, and then you can sack it. You can sack all your lands and deal 5 damage to your opponent. That would just be, like, a one of in, like, every red deck, because you just wait to sacrifice it until your opponent's going to die to it, which is not going to happen very often, but when it does happen, it's like, wow, I just got to win the game out of nowhere. And like, I'm not saying that you should just play it without Mayhem Devil. I do think you need Mayhem Devil to have this be good enough, because like those spots don't happen maybe often enough to like offset the worst mana base. But like in combination with Mayhem Devil, the first copy is, in my opinion, definitely good enough if you're not splashing like white or something. Rob, 15 months, thank you. Learning mistakes, leave with Twitch Prime. You're doing well. Yeah, above average turn, huh? Okay, 1-0. Or some players are like hesitant to pick up the scam cards in the first place, maybe. Would I recommend for a big tournament? I'm worried because new cards are legal that day. Well, I mean, I haven't done any work with the new cards yet, but if I was going to play a big tournament, it would be this deck again. This is what I played recently at RCQ. I think we should Fury turn 1. Obviously, you know, this not being Feign Death is a bit awkward, but you have to play some number of Malakir Rebirths here. I don't think I'm supposed to Village Rites because I'm so scared of Lightning Bolt. Shred a Letter. Ledger. Is it possible WotC's going to reprint Elemental soon? Wizards does things at random. It is possible, though. It'd be funny if I thought it was impossible, even. I think we'll wait here. Do you accept card hoarder links for deck text? I don't. If they work without a card hoarder account, I can open them. They'll be fine. Yeah, they got Delirium quick, but maybe they had to graveyard this iteration to get Delirium. Alright, let's just dash Ragavan. Happy if they counterspell, happy if they use a Bolt or Heat. Happy if we connect. Is 1 or 2 Kroxa not good enough? I'm sure it's been asked 1,000 times. We have played a Kroxa in this version for like forever. For the longest time, we did have a Kroxa, and I forgot to go over the deck tech, but I did recently cut it for the 9th like scam card, or like if you count Village Rites as a scam card. And I've been pretty happy with the change. As much as I have historically liked Kroxa, I think that this is more optimal. With the deck tech, if post link in chat, I'll be happy to take a look. Third Consider. Okay, we do have a card hoarder link. We'll see if it works. It does work. So you're playing Ragavan and Prowess, and you're main decking Prismatic Ending. So I have a few thoughts. Typically, I don't do either of these things. I feel very strongly about no Ragavan in the main deck of Prowess. I've played Ragavan in the main deck of Prowess. I've played a lot of Prowess variants. And I basically always think that Ragavan is a worse option than specifically Sprite Dragon, but you could also... Ooh, that's a good grief. I think worse than like specifically Sprite Dragon, but also like I would play Third Path Iconoclast or something that like contributes to the Prowess game plan over Ragavan. Ragavan is definitely not bad in the deck. Definitely not bad in the deck, but I have definitely preferred playing Sprite Dragon instead of Ragavan. You can see how I would build Prowess in the Stream Decker. Oh, you're Boros. I see you're Boros. Okay, so one like really important thing when we're talking about, I guess, this build. Oh, they have Spell Snare. Damn it. Good thing I didn't get deck tech checked. But one really important thing to remember when you're playing Prowess is that it does not cost you very much to splash a color. Like, it is just not very costly to you at all to play to play blue cards in the deck, so you can play Expressive Iteration over Light Up the Stage, or just Expressive Iteration in general, and then get to play counter spells over Hallowed Moonlight and Silence, where like Flusterstorm and Spell Pierce are, and/or Spell Pierce are so much better. They're so much better than these white cards, and I do like having access to white in the deck, so you can deal with like Murktide and Sanctifier and Vac and like Forge Cinder. These are important cards. But that's also why I prefer to sideboard the white cards, because like for the most part, Prismatic Ending answering like Rest in Peace and Sanctifier and Chalice is more relevant in the sideboard. But obviously, the big trade-off is like losing to Chalice game 1. Prismatic Ending, again, I think is totally fine to main deck. Is a card I don't prefer to main deck, but if you are a main deck Prismatic Ending fan, that is fine, and I'm not gonna fight you super hard on it. But Prismatic Ending is not so good that you should just like not easily splash blue for Expressive Iteration over Light Up the Stage, which is much better, especially in combination with Breach, where you can put the Breach in the hand instead of losing it to the Light Up the Stage, and it gives you much better sideboard options. So I guess that's why I believe the things that I believe as we casually defeat Murktide in the background. Yeah, so I think in this matchup I'm down 2 Mayhem Devil and a Fury typically for 3 Terminate. Jack with 3 months, thank you. Could Invasive Surgery be a good Prowess sideboard budget option? Yeah, I think I would probably play Spell Pierce over Invasive Surgery, because I like that it can protect your prowess creatures sometimes, but it's very close. Let me keep this. Thought about doing something with Disciple Vault, Cat Oven, Asmo all together. Yeah. Yeah. So we've done that in the when Oni Cult Anvil was printed, we were working a lot on the Oni Cult Anvil Disciple of the Vault's Cat Oven deck. Typically, I think that Asmo doesn't fit very well, where it's hard to have a density of discard outlets and fit the entire 12-card Asmo package to the deck, and also just have like a functioning strategy in general. That being said, you could, but I typically have preferred. So like one really awkward thing about Disciple of the Vault with Asmo is a lot of times your food tokens are just staying in play because your Asmo is dead and you have no way to trigger the Disciple. That was always a big problem I found. Okay, I think we're just going to take this moment to resolve Goblin Bombardment. Although maybe with second Terminate... No, I think we just play the Bombardment. Take ahead. Getting this in play is so important. Working on Rakdos, A-Boss, Anvil, I recommend it. We've been playing that. We played some of that too. We played a lot of that deck, and then we tried it again with Exuberant Fuseling being printed, although we didn't play very much of it. I've been feeling the white cards are Nomba with Magus oftentimes. Well, yeah, I would expect that if you're going to have Magus in your deck post-board, you're probably not going to have very many white cards. Okay, we get to resolve Seasoned Pyromancer next turn. This is... I guess they want extra damage on the Shredder, but I feel like I would almost always just hit my opponent with Ragavan first here. Didn't even end up discarding a land. Genie Fae, since you can cookbook... I don't know what Genie Fae does, but I would read the card. If only someone could show me what the card does. I think I'm discarding Malakir Rebirth Ragavan. Oh, that one. Okay, so it's 3 mana. If you make a token, make a 2/2 cat. Or a 3/1 dog with haste. Fun. Okay, we'll see if they get Delirium here. Huge if they don't. Huge if they do. Pivotal moment. And they don't. Let's go. Yeah, it doesn't seem like the easiest card to cast, but it seems very fun. So here's Ragavan, and then 3 mystery cards after they draw. The Ragavan is, not doing anything anymore, really. My hand is really good. The insurance protection is just so... the Murktide protection is so good. Murktide insurance. Oh, the cats have haste, and the dogs have vigilance, I see. Seems very fun. Okay, we'll just ping them. It's not really a world where we get to ping and kill anything. You do an ending against Amulet, I assume. Path seems like it's something you could sign in with Magus against Creativity. Never signed in Magus against Creativity. They're a Lightning Bolt deck, almost always. You could, but I think as far as Titan goes, Titan's like such a weird matchup that like those kind of concerns don't usually matter as much. It's like you don't need to worry about turning off Path with Magus because you have Magus in play. You're fine. Yeah, let's go ahead and play Mayhem Devil. And then use the Marsh Flats and the Elemental token to kill the Seasoned Pyromancer. We're going to have the Village Rites up. Would you ever make a sacrifice into an Obosh deck? Is Bombardment non-negotiable? I mean, Bombardment is like the whole reason to play this version. Like, Bombardment is the whole deck. Yeah. Bloodghast 2 is also huge. But there's not, like, this is by far the best sacrifice outlet in Modern. There's, like, nothing close. Like, we're playing Village Rites because there's not another good permanent-based sack outlet in this format, But maybe one day, right? Maybe one day. Possibly best deck outlet ever. Maybe Cabal Therapy, but they're pretty different. Carrion Feeder Erasure. Carrion Feeder is not that good. It's okay. Oh, I do love Claw. I sure have registered Claw of Gix, huh? Okay, so we'll let them connive before we Village Rites. Oh yeah, there's the new Village Rites too. Alter Dimension not good enough? No. It just like doesn't do anything on the board, and you only have you don't. If you had like more like things like Bloodghast that could go to the graveyard for value, it would be better. Okay, well we have cards that we can get rid of Bombardments with Spyro and Fury at some point. Skull Clamp is the best deck. Yeah, I think there's a good case to be made there, huh? Well, I guess if they dash Ragavan, we have to terminate it, probably. And then if they have land Murktide, it's pretty bad. But if they don't and they're holding Murktide, we can grief the Murktide. Okay, that's fine. I think. Pretty good against my hand. Top 8 tomorrow challenge with Scammer Time, looking for edits. The biggest problem is Malakir is hard to enable without trimming black cards. Considering Sculler, okay, we'll take a look. We have another deck tech for Supreme Lurker. I think I actually have to use the Terminate. My life total's too low. I draw like exactly Fury. Yeah, I'm kind of sad I did this. Okay, we drew another Terminate, which makes me happy. So, okay, one thing is, like, this does not seem like the plan to me. Let's just take the Murktide. I know we have the Terminate, but just lose it. They draw a counterspell. Okay, so first thing is, I saw this list, I think. First off, congrats on your top 8. Okay, I take it all back. I saw the 3 different Stoneforge Mystic arts, and then this one's off. I'm like, the font size is different, which is Magic Online's fault. I'm like, you're only playing 3 Stoneforge Mystics? What is happening? I think I even said that on stream, too. Okay, I think that only 2 copies of Esper Sentinel is ridiculous. I think it's, like, total madness. I understand that you're doing this so that you can fit all these black cards in the deck. Also, like, playing Malakir Rebirth and your Pure Steel Paladin deck seems so tough. It's so tough to, like, play those 2 cards together. You could consider, like, white-black Filterland to help, which is something that I don't like the idea of having to do. But you could. Yeah, so here I can Seasoned Pyromancer kill a token? Not like that. I don't know. So like, I think that, you know, one reason that you're really struggling here, and like, this is maybe kind of obvious, but you're struggling because these decks don't mesh together super well, right? I think that the idea of playing Scholar over Thoughtseize can make some sense, so that you have more artifacts and you still have a similar amount of hand disruption, but your curve is higher. I do think that Grief is kind of cool in the deck. I agree with your thought on cutting the Voyager Staff. I agree on your thought on cutting the Voyager Staff. I think that you have to... I think you actually can't play Ephemerates, right? You, like... They drew another dress down. I think that you can't play any more Ephemerates. I think that you have to have all of your scam effects be black cards. And I think that Malakir Rebirth is so awkward in your version, being unable to tap for Paladin, that you should just play, like, all Feign Death and, you know, the other Feign Death. So you're like, what? Cut the Ephemerate, 3 Malakir Rebirth, you can play, like, 5 Feign Death effects, cut the Voyager Staff... Okay, I have to deal them too. Cut the Voyager Staff. You maybe cut the Cauldra also. Way to open some spots. But I also like could just never imagine playing Hammer without 4 Esper Sentinel. These Dothy Voidwalkers seem really ambitious to cast post board. Look, maybe the whole deck is kind of ambitious. I don't know. If we find a fetch land off Unlucky Witness or 1-mana creature, we can kill the Fury. And I do really want to... I guess I could just block sack, actually. Let's do that. This way, this will let me, like, maybe dig for a Seasoned Pyromancer. It should be the best draw. And if they kill the Mayhem Devil, I can just kill the Fury. If you're playing Hammer, what's my plan? Game attack against 4-color, 5-color Oddmath. Just draw better than them by a lot. That matchup's really bad. It's going to be really bad, basically, no matter what you do. So I think just, like, accept that this is one of your worst matchups in the format, and just trying to play as tight as you can is fine, and just trying to, like, maybe not play around much, or not play around things as often as you would in other matchups, since you just really don't have the luxury of doing so, if that makes sense. So anyways, 18 months, thank you. Couple of silence, playable, and Jeskai prowess. I mean, I typically always prefer like the blue counter spells to silence, but it's like you need an anti-cascade card because living in is so tough. You don't want it to be graveyard hate, so you could. Okay, I love that they played that, so we should be able to stabilize pretty well here. Pitch a bombardment to this Fury. I guess we don't even have to... Hold on, so we can have this be... No, I guess we still have to terminate. Go terminate. Fury, kill Fury. Probably, but it doesn't really cost us anything to just dash Ragavan first. Oh, we actually do we have lethal? I think we just have lethal. It's close. Yeah, it's Xaxes actually, because we have the treasure token. So we go deal you 1, and then Fury is 2, 2, 2, 2. If they kill Devil, that allows us to ping Fury. Yeah, that's why I dealt 1 damage to the Fury. So if they kill the Devil, we could kill their Fury. I sure hope I counted correctly. I think so. Right. 2-0. That's great. I was so happy, and they just didn't post it to YouTube. It was on the VOD, but they just like never posted the deck tech to YouTube, and I was always so bummed. We can keep this because we can Village Rites or Witness for lands here. Could also Village Rites are Grief, but I think I just want to play Witness on turn 1. So I can dig more for a second land. Would Children's Edict be a nice card in the shell because it synergizes with Devil, or is it too cute? Yeah, you just need Terminate. You just gotta target the thing and kill the thing, I think. You can play Children's Edict because you don't have access to Terminate in some shells. Okay, this hand is bad against turn 1 Scam. Did watching Doom this weekend relight the fire? No. I don't know. I don't know, a little bit. My friend Josh won the thing. Won the whole damn thing. The fire is still there, but it's just like... I don't know. I'm very, very lucky. I'm very lucky to be in the position where streaming is so awesome and rewarding. Streaming is like... Tournament Magic for me, I don't think is ever going to be more interesting than like brewing and streaming in Modern. This is just the best shit ever. This is just the best shit ever. It's not going to become... I don't think I will ever again think of myself as primarily a tournament grinder. Pew Pew 19 months, thank you. Yeah, but my friend Josh, Josh Willis, who I've known Josh since he and his little sister were like just like teenagers, like 14, 15 probably was when I first met Josh. Just grinding PPTQs. They're just like just really, really sweet kids. Now is, I think I'm with the blockers here. Instead of evoking the grief. And now he just won the regional championship. Very exciting. He's always been a really good player. Always been a really talented player. Really, really sweet guy. I had borrowed, for GP Arizona, actually, GP Phoenix, I had borrowed, like, half of a blue-white control deck from him for that tournament, and then, like, COVID hit, and, like, I didn't get the cards back to him for, like, a year, maybe a year and a half, and he was very chill about it. And there's a really sweet picture of him. This is when he qualified for Worlds, getting second. This is a picture of him, and I think this is Will. I actually have one of these jerseys that Josh is wearing from Musketeer Gaming. I finally earned the jersey. Oh, okay, the draw is really good against mine. Any chance of having another no banless modern tournament again? So much fun. They're definitely very fun. Yeah, we can't scam the Witness because they have Voidwalker in play. Super good draw against us. That's okay though. I think this matchup is pretty good overall. I like our chances to win both Sideboard games. Plus I got for your sub, Musketeer Gaming shirt. Yeah, I think mine just says Spike, I think. Yeah, so I tend to like a couple copies of Terminate in this matchup to kill, like, specifically Voidwalker. And, like, Mayhem Devil's kind of fragile, so I tend to, I think, just do 2-2. Yeah, we do run Feign Death. We have a 3-3-3 split. You really need the Rebirth to hit your land drops, and also you care a little bit less about the counter. Because you're sacrificing your permanents, but I've been really liking this 3-3-3 Village Rites Rebirth Feign Death. Am I fine with 4 sorceries only in the main deck of prowess? Yeah, completely fine, completely fine. If you're main decking, if your thought is to main deck Prismatic Ending because of Delirium, I basically never had a problem getting Delirium with Channeler quickly. You cast so many spells. We have 3 bombardments. I guess we mulligan. The different art was honestly like throwing me off a little bit there. Keep this. Put back Mountain, I guess. Not a great hand. If y'all could hear Lucy barking up a storm. Too bad we don't have a black instant to punish this Fatal Push here. I've been seeing more and more Fatal Pushes in Scam lately. It's interesting. Yeah, it would have been awesome if they had the Scam 2 Bloodghast out of my hand, but of course never lucky. Yeah, push into Voidwalker lines up really, really well against me. Big bummer. I do think I'm going to go ahead and sack a Bloodghast to Village Rites this turn instead of just playing second Village Rites. I will attack first. Some good draws. A little late to the party. Feign Death. I think because this is Sokenzan and I can channel, I'm going to play the Marsh Flats out. I can also get a tap Blood Crypt. I guess I could have played out the second Bloodghast. Probably should have, yeah. They usually have a couple push in the sideboard. Yeah, I've been seeing more in the main deck too, but yeah, it could just be sideboard here. Yeah, I was probably supposed to play the Bloodghast. I did do it before damage, yeah. It's 2 from the Bloodghast, 3 from the Fetch Shock. Interesting. Weirdly enough, we get kind of rewarded for holding the Bloodghast. I could have also held the Sokenzan, though. I should have held the Sokenzan. Well, easy choices here. Well, you have the Fable loot coming down. He did it before the Bloodghast hit face. I don't think that's true, y'all. I think my opponent took 3 damage from Fetch and Shock and 2 from the Bloodghast. That's why they're at 15. Right? Unless I had hit them twice with the Bloodghast. I think I did it in damage after damage was dealt. Yeah, Shocked in the Crypt, 2 damage from Bloodghast, and the Fetch. Yeah, okay. This card's Grief and Thoughtseize finds Fatal Push, unfortunately. So you have to really, really out-top deck our opponent. Guess I killed a Shaman, it's like really bad if they have like Fable plus Spyro, but we're, you know, not doing very well against the top deck Spyro anyways. I'm secretly thinking I want my few sorcery cards that are bad against land decks so I can graveyard with them with DRC. This is not a good reason at all. This is not a good reason at all. Playing cards so you can bend them or discard easily because they're bad is not a good thought, because you should just have all good cards and you should bend them when you need to, but have all your cards be as high quality as possible. You did it. You did meet Blood Funnel's deck building requirements. Funny enough. The big problem with this deck, and you probably know this, is your deck is really, really bad when you don't have Blood Funnel in play. And the problem is that you need to play a token creator, and then you need to play Blood Funnel, and then you need to have a lot of action after that. And then obviously you do have a lot of action in the deck, so that part is probably not too tough. And so, like, you know, you do have, so I guess Diabolic Intent does bridge that gap pretty well together, huh? So that way you can play token generator and then intent for the Blood Funnel and then go like Blood Funnel spell. At the beginning, let me read Spirit Sister's Call. At the beginning of your end step, choose target permanent card in graveyard. Your second price permanent, choose a type. To return a card in graveyard, permanent will leave the battlefield exile. That card doesn't seem very good. It doesn't seem terrible. It doesn't seem terrible, but it doesn't seem like a card I'm super excited to register. Like, I know that, like, so this is kind of an easy-ish trap, I think, to fall into, where it's like, oh, okay, if I have my Blood Funnel in play, I get to play this for only 3 mana, and I get to loop it and get a lot of value, but it's like, you know, any 5 mana spell you're playing in Modern has got to be just, like, so much value. I feel like I really like just playing all these, like, I just play the 4th Lingering Souls. I like Treacherous Blessing a lot here, but I just feel like I like being more in on these 3 mana spells. Or at the very least, if you really like this card, it's your pet card or something, you could just cut 1 for 4th Lingering Souls. I could just be totally off. This could be the best card in the deck, but I would probably try to get the 5 drops out of there. I think you've done it though. I think this is probably about as good as you can make Blood Funnel. I'm not sure what matchups Rite of Oblivion are for. You could main deck a Rite of Oblivion too over Spirit Sister's Call, maybe even more copies if you really like this one. Okay, definitely gonna play the Bombardment this turn. Might end up drawing Mayhem Devil or Bloodghast, so I'll hold the fetch land. Yeah, I'd probably max out on 4 Sanctifiers before the first Ariak Champion. I would not play Nile Spellbomb in a deck with black. I'd definitely play Voidwalker or Rest in Peace or Leyline of the Void. Just, you know, some loose thoughts, I guess. Definitely going to grief their Fury here. But it looks like a very fun list for sure. Great F&M deck. Ooh, Riveteer's Charm. I've not seen that card in a while. MK 2 years, happy 2 years. Sure, I would have spent as much on brews without the stream, so thank you. Well, in the future, spend money at Cool Stuff Inc. and get 5% off. Yeah, that looks very fun. Yeah, March does have that Blood Funnel synergy, huh? But it's not a card I've been liking too much lately. Okay, so they hit Tarmogoyf, Ragavan, Fatal Push, and then... they don't have Revolt here, so... Wait. Oh, they did correct the fetch. Okay, sorry, I should have pinged them for 1. I really thought they didn't have Revolt. I was so confused. I don't... It's kind of disastrous, I guess, if they hit... Like a Seasoned Pyromancer? I'm just gonna take 2. What can you do, huh? I guess if now they have some tension though between Goif and Spyro here. I don't know why I say anything. Okay, they end up casting the Goif instead. It's funny though. Spoken into existence indeed. I don't have that many 2-drops that are relevant here. It's just like Bloodghast, so I think I feel fine about just playing that tapped. So I think if I'm blocking and sacking, it's probably with Ragavan, since if they're attacking with the Goif, they'll have a plan for the Ragavan, and the Spyro's like way better if I draw a scam card. So they're probably not planning on attacking now. They drew their own Seasoned Pyromancer. Good old Inquisition of Kozilek. The text of Inquisition target Spike, reveals Fury, conceded, left the game is really funny to me. I think very similar to Scam, just kind of want a couple of Terminates for Goifs, and Mayhem Devil is like not a card you want to draw too many copies of. Yeah, they changed the tech or like the coloring on Tarmogoyf recently. It's kind of weird. Were they dead on board? Oh, I didn't realize they were dead on board. I thought that they were alive. Like I wasn't able to kill Fury immediately. But I guess they didn't have too many top decks. Would I side in Path of Peril versus Yogg? I have sometimes. I don't always. I'm trying to remember, because I think the Terminates to kill Yawgmoth itself are pretty important. You're a Fury deck too. You have Fury Bombardment, so like you already have the hedge against the small creatures, so Terminate killing Yawgmoth is pretty big. You want to cut all your Ragavans though. So it's like usually like you cut all your Ragavans and you play 3 Terminates, and then you play some number of Path of Perils, I guess. Although you can also play a Necromentia on the play, so there's just a lot of ins and outs to the case, I suppose. Just get a mountain with that draw. Because like now I can't cast Bloodghast, but if I draw Bloodghast, I just want to hold it for Spyro anyways. Kept the 1-lander. Did they give a 7-card 1-lander? Yeah, of course they did. Must have read. I bet they hit their 3rd land drop before I do though. Not yet, though. Yeah, they discarded Ren, so they must have another. I could honestly try to grief their Ren in 6. I can also Fury it. Okay, now I think I'll Fury their grief their Ren in 6. Although it's awkward if they would have gone to discard instead, huh? Awkward against Veil Summer, too. Yikes. They discarded Ren in 6, and they did not have another one. I can't believe they just passed the turn. I can't believe they just passed the turn. They must have another Veil of Summer. They have another Veil of Summer. It's so dumb. Still, like, I feel like you always play the Ren in 6 there. Oh, also, who was right about my opponent hitting their 4th land drop before I did? Or 3rd land drop before I did. They could put 1-lander on the play. And they hit their 3rd land drop before I did. Although I kept a 2-lander. Oh, I forgot to ping my... Oh, sorry, I used the Village Rites. So I kept a 2-lander on the draw. I have now missed... I have missed looking for land 10 times. And I'm not doing too bad. Wait, when did they draw this Forgotten Cave? Discard Endurance and another copy of Seasoned Pyromancer. Will look number 11. Finally find my third land. What are, I'm a 22 land deck, right? Yeah, 22 land deck. What are the odds of being on the missing? Okay, now 11 times. What are the odds of missing your third land drop 11 times in a 22 land deck? It's much lower than 1%, right? I don't think I'm supposed to Fury here. I think I could wait. 50-50. Good math. The thing is, like, we're still, like, doing fine, to be honest. 0.03%. Ugh, rough. A little bit, honestly, like, a little bit, like, higher than I thought. Yeah, you know the game is going well when you break out the hypergeometric calculator. I mean, you know, we play enough Magic that this is going to happen sometimes. Come on, land. Alright, 12. Oh no, it's Tomb of Urami. It's fine. .016. We finally found it though. No ogres in play though. I might be supposed to just targeting my. I may be just supposed to target my opponent. Okay, endurance makes sense. Not better to play a second was trying a different land. I don't know. We get to play the Bloodghast this turn, which is also valuable, and like we're not guaranteed to hit the second land. It would be so funny if we won this game. I'm really not even doing too bad, to be honest. We are dead to 2 lightning bolts now. I don't think I need the Terminate, honestly. I think with the Bombardment in play, the being at 8, we're just gonna go for the kill in a second. 2, 3, 4, 5. Put them to 1 if they don't kill my Spyro in response to Feign Death. Not much difference between being at 4 and 6. They could run in 6 plus bolt though. They might have 2 bolts, I don't know. Don't think we're really beating it, of course. Oh wait, no, I have lethal. I have lethal if they have nothing. Exile target player's graveyard. Okay, not much I can do about that. Too bad it wasn't a fetch land. I think the extra blockers are really key here, though. Cool game. They had 3. So they're 3 cards in hand. Effectively, they're at 2. Okay, if they have a bolt, we're dead. They're not immediately pinging me, though. Yeah. I ping them. So they either they like really punted or they don't have a lightning bolt in the hand. So I don't really need to play around it, right? Famous last words. Let's go like this. 3-1. You miss lethal. No, what are you talking about? I still have lethal here, but I'm just thinking if I don't need to like cast the Malakir Rebirth yet and like die to Kolagon's command or anything, but I still get to go kill the Seasoned Pyromancer, attack with everything, still have lethal, y'all. I've currently not missed lethal. We're just like considering that my opponent could have cards here, right? This beats Endurance. This is not, you know, this is like this is the best way to do it, I think. Yeah, just think I play around Kolaghan's Command. Yeah. Beat another removal spell here. Okay, 3-1. Let's get another 4-1 prediction. 4-1 with the last deck. This thing's going a lot faster. Rebirth 3. Yeah, again, I think you just died to Kolaghan's Command, and you're still like beating like any like one removal spell there. Yeah, this deck is really, really good. Okay. Yeah, it's very funny to miss that third land drop for 12 draws and still win. Shout out to John to mid range. Couldn't have done it without you. Let's keep this. We can put a turn 1 fort. We can put a turn 1 Hogak into play. I think I'm putting back the Devil. We could pitch a different card if we, or like draw a different red card too. Why does casting Rebirth leave us dead decay command? Because we're at 4, and then you lose 2 when you cast Rebirth. Is why. I'm not a mathematician, but that was my thought process. You just discard Ragavan? Or pitch Ragavan? Kinda close. Yeah, the 4-1 was at the food deck. Is there one of Dwarf my list? No, we don't play enough mountains. You have Malakir Rebirth, which also doesn't work well with the. Then you have like 3 Rebirth, 1 Den of the Bugbear, 1 Sokenzan, and 1 Tomb of Urami as your utility lands. I wonder if they chump block. I'm just gonna play the top Blood Crypt if they don't. Why not play the Old Gen Sack? This is better. You know, this is, in my opinion, this is the best version of Sacrifice, and this is, you know, an opinion I've come to after playing a lot of that version and a lot of this version, that this is the best version. It's been a long time since I played the Coco variant, but that's why. So I'm going to double burn spell my Fury, going down to 6. Then Seasoned Pyromancer puts like 6 points of power into play. Guess we ditch the... Do we ditch the Rebirth? Actually, we can use it as a land for Bloodghast, which is maybe what's really important here. Well, still. No luck hitting them swans then. We were talking about that earlier. I can't remember what the context was. Okay, we win. Swans with Asmo / Fury sounds really fun. If only Swans, like if only, oh sorry, Fury and Swan sounds fun, and Fury and Asmo and Swan sounds fun, but you have to put stupid swans in your deck. It stinks. It's not fair. Good to win the game 1 against the Bird matchup. It's kind of a tough one. Not that bad. Goblin Bombardment was lethal. Why discard it? Well, if I didn't have a land for Bloodghast, it wasn't lethal, right? But you know, they have that Eidolon in play. Really not hard to find lethal when they're at 6 and they have Eidolon in play also. Yeah, but I thought the land returning Bloodghast was more relevant. I haven't sideboarded in this matchup very much. I honestly like... Okay, you have to bring in Path of Peril because of Sanctifier. That's like your main way you lose, I think. I think you really never want to draw Tomb of Urami, so you can just cut it. And I think you cut 2 Devils, especially with like bringing in more 3-drops. Yeah, I always forget that like they're gonna have Sanctifier, possibly they're gonna have Sanctifier, so you have to bring in the pass. I could even grieve here because of Sanctifier. I don't love it, but I think I have to, or like I think it's correct. I think Sanctifier is like so good against you that it's fine. They have 2 Searing Blazes, huh? So let me just take an idol. I guess dashing Ragavan into Eidolon's awkward, but I'm also not like... I could hit Bolt for their Eidolon or Skewer. But I'm really not going to want to play this without a protection into double Searing Blaze. Tomb of Urami is good with Mayhem Devil, is what it's there for. Yeah, I didn't think they'd block. I love giving them a second Searing Blaze target. But I can go like dash Ragavan plus Bombardment next turn. And then like if they Searing Blaze, I kill the Eidolon, which is like so much damage for me. This is like really bad spot. Ooh. I'm shocked you cast that, TBH. I feel like it wasn't so bad that it was shocking. Maybe, I guess it was, huh? Like, at the very least, the Swift Spear can also, like, block an Eidolon, so, like, the 2 damage can be offset there. Obviously, you lose the treasure. Well, I wonder if I'm supposed to sack the Swift Spear here, like... in response to the fetch, just sack it, there's no target in play anymore. I don't know, it's gonna be hard to like get around these Searing Blazes. That was probably the better line though. I was assuming they would Blaze Swift Spear to get an Eidolon, yeah. But like with the I had the Bombardment in my hand, right? I drew Fury. Because I'm thinking in combination it was going to be fine. I don't know. Maybe it was bad. I'm willing to accept it was likely bad. Let's see. So I'm going to go down to 6. I know they have Blaze. They got 2 mystery cards. The problem is we just like... so I can sack this Fury before they target it. But how do we ever win the game? We draw like Running Griefs or something? I don't know, it doesn't seem very likely. I don't know, yeah, we could maybe just sack every creature as we play it. Just like Witnesses, Spyros, just throw the damage at them. So obviously this line would be way better if we had done that with the Swift Spear earlier. Huh. Hold this for Bloodghast. Alright, game 3. I think I played this one super well. It was a hard game to play, at least. Interesting hand. Turn 1 Ragavan, very good at this matchup. Fury plus Village Rites, fine. Gonna reluctantly keep. So I tend to like to keep very borderline hands like this that have high upside in matchups that I think are not favorable. So this is an example of a matchup that I think is not favorable, and instead has really, really high upside. And one thing to remember too is your burn opponents only have 4 ways to kill your Ragavan on turn 1. They only have 4 cards that do it. So there's a pretty high chance that, or more than half the time, your Ragavan is going to connect, unless they sided something in. Yeah, suspend Rift Bolt. So I can Village Rites the Ragavan in response to the target, maybe, if they target there. We immediately drew the land like a lucky man. I think we just play Bombardment and then hold up Village Rites. Okay, interesting. But maybe just down to ignore Ragavan. Something historically I think you're probably not supposed to do is burn. They have Searing Blood, but thankfully Searing Blood is very bad against sacrificial effects, unlike Searing Blaze. And I love drawing Feign Death here. Let's go ahead and just put a 4/4 double striking into play against burn. Remember that you can get 1 damage from the bombardment in these spots. Remember when I was first working on this build, I would forget this damage all the time. Very easy to forget. Could have held the land for Bloodghast. I think it's probably better to play it. Goblin Guide. Eidolon. Eidolon against the 4/4 double strike, very dangerous, like we saw in game 1. My opponent shows me a Bloodghast on the top of my library. If my opponent takes this hit, they're just dead to Mayhem Devil. They wisely chump block. I'm at 11. Gonna be kind of hard to lose this game. Possible for sure. I guess I could target the Goblin guy to use the treasure to kill the guy, but I'm just blocking here, and then okay, I can kill the guy if they kill my Mayhem Devil. Alright. Trask, 26 months. Yeah, should just be able to kill both of these with the Bloodghast and win. Definitely win if we draw a land. Oh, this is kind of a fun draw. Very satisfying card there. Don't even have to sack anything. A lot smoother. Okay, so 2/4/1s. This deck is always just so sick. Let's see, we're 3 hours 30 minutes into the stream. I'm a bit worried if I start another league, I'm gonna be starving. And I'm recording a podcast with Arilax and Dom later today, and I think I probably just need to end the stream so I can make sure I'm mentally fresh for that, and not everything falling back later because I'm a little stuck. Also, need to do some playtesting tonight. Find some fun stuff for the stream tomorrow. Glad we finally got. I also am not dying to do multiple leagues this deck. As good as I think this deck is, we've played a lot of it on the stream, so it's not like I'm just dying to get a million reps in. We know it's good. We've done pretty well with it historically. I just kind of wanted to show off some of the small changes here today. Not that we necessarily did get to show that much off today. Okay, let's raid Modest, who is usually raiding us. Usually Modest is raiding us almost every single day, but we're ending a little early, so we can raid Modest today. Modest.